Welcome to the Ultimate Fancast, where fans are the star of the show. Each week we explore the epic co-created Battle Bunnies franchise from legendary artists Frank and Krista Linatra and the team at Junkbox Studios. Ultimate fans join BBS, Lord L, and Brian as they dive deep into the extraordinary world of the Battle Bunnies. Plus, we'll be your guides and take you backstage with the creators and actors who are captivating family audiences worldwide. Are you ready to meet this week's Ultimate Fan? It's time to fan up and enjoy the show. Welcome back to another Summer Update Series special episode. Today, we've got Mike with us, the man behind the scenes that's helping us out with everything that makes our NFT collections what they are. He has been doing a lot of work behind the scenes over the last 6 months or more. Obviously, you're a founder. You've been doing a bunch of stuff. So I just wanted to connect. It's been a while since we've talked and just, give everybody up to speed, like what you've been doing with, I think you've been working on some website stuff. And obviously, there's been some changes with the NFT stuff. And I just wanted to jump into that today and kind of just let everybody know kind of what you've been doing and, what we can look forward to, coming up in the future.
For sure, man. For sure. Well, first of all, it's good to see you again. Good to talk to you again, man. You've been rocking it out with this Fancast, dude. Every episode has been something special, unique, and fun. It seems like you guys are having a blast putting it together, and we're all having a blast. Even more fun watching it. So I hope you guys keep it up, and obviously come up with new creative ways to display the world of Cannon Guard and the Battle Bunnies here too. So yeah, like you said, there's been a million different levers being pulled behind the scenes. A lot of it has just been in the shadows. And I'm happy to give you guys a little bit of an update here. This hasn't really been the most expedited process, but it's just the nature of the cards that we're sort of dealing with here. So we're trying to work on a million different things in a million different ways, as always. And coming up in Richmond, we got a lot to showcase, and it's going to be fun to see everybody again, yourself included.
Yeah, for sure.
So just a quick update on some of the things that's been happening sort of behind the scenes, and I'm not going to get so technical into it, but bottom line is we had to sort of rearrange sort of the way that the NFTs and some of the code behind the metadata and everything was really stored, and the bridge to store that information on a particular blockchain in order to extract it. So
that was
behind the scenes, there's been quite a few different pieces that sort of had to get repaired. Had some issues with some of the pieces that we've been working with in order to bridge some of the data and the data sets with the metadata onto a particular blockchain in order to extract it. So there's a lot of code that had to get sort of rewritten. The best way I could describe it is the equivalent of Frank, kind of drawing every asset all over again.
Whoa, Jackberd. What did you just say?
The best way I could describe it is the equivalent of Frank, kind of drawing every asset all over again. It is a Herculean effort. It is taking, some time. It's going to take some time to finalize everything. And that's sort of, the 2 steps back to take 3 steps forward approach I've been taking with that. At the same time, we're sort of preventing an issue like this from derailing or delaying anything we want to do in the future. And that's, that's going to be some of the elements that we're going to want to showcase on our own platform, and sort of bridging that out in a particular format of our own website. And I know this has been, another Herculean effort in order to showcase what that looks like, but I can give you a little bit of a sneak peek here and really just show you what's going on a little bit behind the scenes and show you how, some of these translations from where the data sets sit currently on places like OpenSea and how that's going to translate directly into our website, so we don't have to rely on those systems anymore.
That's awesome. I can tell you this, from your perspective, you may think that it's not, going fast enough, but from a community member who doesn't know about anything, we have no idea that you're dealing with these Herculean efforts behind the scenes. So one, thank you from the entire community that you're addressing these things that, we had no idea were taking place. That's the great thing is there's been no disruption that we've seen. There's been no slowdown that we've seen. I don't want to call it a project because we're more than a project. As a community, as a movement, I've called it before, what we're doing here at Battle Bunnies, you guys can continue to just offer new things all the time and that kind of stuff. So we appreciate what you've been working on behind the scenes. Can't wait to see what's coming in the future. But sorry, it's been, it just sounds like a complete nightmare with some back end changes. And
it's the nature of the beast, man. Nature of the beast.
You make it look seamless, and like, you're on the leading edge with so many things, like the things that we've done in the past. So the fact that it sounds like you're, like you explained, Frank redrawing everything, that just sounds nightmarish. So,
well, yeah, I mean, again, a lot of it is just making sure that there are no errors, right? So it has to sort of be, taken into account with a fine tooth comb, and, some code relies on other code in order to pull it properly. Like, there's a lot of moving parts behind the scenes. And again, for me, I don't necessarily like to be front and center with these types of things. But I just like to get them done, and I like to get them done quick. That way that, the best solution to all this is that people didn't even know there was a problem. But
like I said, you and the founders probably are very intimate to what's going on with that stuff. But yeah, from our perspective, the community that's not in the day-to-day,
bridging the system in these updates, whether it's a reveal of another class, another set of dragons, the maturity of these dragons, like all of these codes have to get rewritten and then get re-imprinted onto, a particular blockchain in order to extract that data. So that's sort of, the heavy lift that's going on the blockchain and NFT side of things. On the website side of things, again, sort of running in parallel paths. I'm trying to put together a system that allows us to evolve on our own terms, rather than having these, speed bumps that may derail us as the technology continues to advance. And, wherever the marketplace is, it shouldn't make a difference. So the website itself is coming together. Still quite a bit of work to do to it, but if you want, I can give you a little bit of a sneak peek and just show you exactly what I mean about how, we're not going to necessarily be as reliant on the system anymore. And then you tell me what your thoughts are.
Yeah, you don't ever have to ask me twice, do I want a sneak peek? I speak for the community. We always want the spoilers, like the sneak peeks.
All right, cool. Well, I mean, again, it is a work in progress. There's still a lot of data to be added, but I'll give you sort of a snapshot on what it'll all look like here. So
I'll add you to the
I think I need permission to share here. So there we go. All right, let me move this screen out of the way so I can play around. All right. So essentially, we're creating two unique experiences with the overall website. And now that we actually have the light sider and the dark sider, you're going to get two unique experiences about the overall feel on how you want to experience the website, which I think is really cool. So why don't you choose? You want to enter as the dark side or on the light side?
Oh, definitely dark side.
All right. So we're going to jump into the dark side here. Okay. So the experience of the dark side of the website is specific for obviously everything relating to the tainted scyther. So the dark dragons, you have the samurai squirrel general. All of these pieces are really sort of unique to this side of the website. Now, each page, each section of the website is sort of built out twice, right? So we have this dark version, and then we also have a light version of the same page. It's really the same material. It's just an overall different experience. So for now, I just jumped into the light version just to show you what I mean. So we have the same construct, the same overall flow and foundational pieces on how you can navigate around the site, just uniquely set up for the light theme versus the dark theme.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, and I love all the motion graphics that you have going on, like just from a visual standpoint, and the fact that it's parallax. It's kind of like that Mario effect where like some things stay while you're moving and stuff like that. That's cool.
So this is actually utilizing a newer software, and it's very responsive based, right? So it'll pick up different types of screen sizes. It'll have different motions about, wherever you are navigating around the site. I'm sure you noticed on the landing page where I had you choose, the cursor was actually the Battle Bunnies logo. So, little unique like that, but all it does is enhance the overall user experience behind all of it. So I'll jump into the collectibles, and I'll just show you exactly what I meant earlier about, sort of building out our own version of what we've been relying on this whole time, and just having that be something that is unique to us, something that'll update on our terms, and that we have a little bit more control over. So what I've actually been doing here is sort of rebuilding OpenSea. So we have our own version of it. So we have the ability to search through all of the various traits. We can select any of the different tokens, all of the different assets this is the Spartan collection. So you can choose from the various different collections, the hot pops, all of that will be uploaded into our own system that we have complete control over. And, obviously there's going to be direct links to platforms like OpenSea, but there's also some unique components of this as well, where you're going to have your overall score on what the metadata has here on the right-hand side. You're going to have the class, in this case, the class of the actual Spartan itself, how that ranks in the collection and how that ranks as far as like what type of Spartan it is. So there's a lot of unique pieces that are in place here. If there's a backstory to this Spartan, that backstory which you alluded to, before we jumped in here, just making sure that all those pieces live on our ecosystem. We'll have the ability to see all the cards. So any cards that are part of the system, we're going to be able to see those on each of the individual tokens. If the token has a name, if the bunny has a name, that name will appear here as well. We've literally recreated our own little version of what OpenSea provides.
That's awesome, man. Wow. That's
so
very, very cool.
As I'm sure you can understand, it is quite the task, but I think once everything is sort of, in place the way it's supposed to, we're going to be able to build on this pretty uniquely. And I'm sort of excited about the opportunity to bring this front and center once we get it to that point. Same concept with Series 1 and Series 2. So we have all of the Series 1 bunnies and the Ghost bunnies and the Hooligans, like all of them are here. As you can see, like we're going to be able to bounce around and check all of these pieces off. They're going to be sort of unique collections that you can sort of play around with and get the information that you're looking to get out of it, rather than sifting through all the noise of the 3,800, close to 4,000 NFTs that are currently sitting on OpenSea. You can really break it down per sub collection and really jump in to the back here. So one of the cool things that I want to show you here, and you'd get a kick out of this, but so similar concept to the Spartans, right? So we have our NFTs with all of our various metadata traits, how they rank as opposed to into their various classes, but we actually have a direct link with the dragon that's bonded to the Valkyries.
Oh,
so
cool.
Those dragons are directly linked to each of the respective tokens, and then on the other side the same thing. So if we were to go to this dragon specifically, it would bridge directly to this Valkyrie as the bonded NFT. And if we wanted to pop into the OpenSea link, which it just opened it up in a different link, you can't see that here, but it would pull up the OpenSea link so you can get direct access to any of the on-chain data or historical transactions that occurred with this particular token.
No, that's impressive. No,
it's a lot, man. It's a lot to bring in, but I think that bringing this under our umbrella is going to be the next level kind of thing.
Yeah, I can totally. Yeah, the fact that you're connecting like connected NFTs and stuff like that by the Valkyries with their bonded light dragon, like you can't do that even in OpenSea very easily. Like if you click on the Guardian, all it does is just pull up the same NFT that you're looking at. It doesn't pull up the light dragon that it's the Guardian for. Like, it's I don't know why OpenSea doesn't do that, but they don't let you connect things together. So you guys are doing that here. That's pretty awesome. And
I also have the different this isn't updated to the current piece, but we also have the switches embedded on the dark class here. So it is a very engaging tool. And again, I think it's just our own little way that we can make the modifications we want to without any interference. Now, the one thing I will say is that this is an off-chain solution, right? So any changes that would occur on that OpenSea platform, which we would make them simultaneously here, but it's not pulling the data from any on-chain activity. It's actually directly embedded on our site, again, giving us a little bit more control over any errors, any issues that we may encounter, and any updates we want to make.
Nice. See the Dark Scyther there? Like I'd heard some talk that you guys want to do something with getting Dark Scyther on chain. Is that is that integrated here, or how what's that? Like what's going on with that? Like, so how we can turn our Dark Scyther in so that we can mature our baby dragon to a mature dragon. Is that all going to be done here on the site, or is that going to be done?
So that's a system that lives on Discord for now. We were going to tokenize the system, but it became an additional step at this point. We may tokenize it into just a standardized token and just see how that goes. But we're going to try to avoid any gas related transaction fees or anything like that. That's just going to be problematic. So we're trying to, that's many, cities down the road before we drive to. But yeah, I mean, if we get to that point, we can ultimately create, and I already started the process, as you can see up here with the login, but you can almost create your own unique experience by signing in just with your standard email and login credentials, and really gauge where you're at with your own profile. And I'll show you sort of what that looks like behind the scenes and some of the things that we got going on here. So, okay. So, I created sort of like just a generalized version of this, but this is a good snapshot. I mean, don't worry about the formatting or the way that anything looks at this point. All this is still a work in progress. But for starters, you got to start with the just the overall functionality of everything. So there's so many pieces of this puzzle still out there, right? We have a lot of digital components, which you just covered, but we also have these physical components too. So Frank had this idea of throwing together a backpack. And this backpack is going to be unique for every single person, right? So, for example, I just got my ghost cards and my light dragon cards. I didn't update my profile yet, but it will highlight now that I have them and how many I have. We have the TCG game, we have the cards, the holo cards from the TCG game, whatever books are available, the display case, which I'm sure you saw behind me. I have the display case for the book that was created. Any canvas prints like yours would be loaded here. With all the ones that you currently have. It's basically your collection. It's a digital checkbox of all of the assets that you hold, whether they're pins, keychains, if gaming awards, whether it's the Rabbit Hole Game Award or the Scyther Chronicles Award, from the game. Like all of these pieces, they live and they'll get added to over time. And then each individual person would be able to update their own profile based around whatever they've collected.
Nice. Yeah, my canvases are not from the store, so they would be off chain.
So that's it. I mean, we have some other pieces around the website as well. Obviously the Scyther Chronicles, which describes the game, some of the aspects about the game. The battle guide is downloadable. Some of our in-person, content that we're just going to continuously update here. We have the Rabbit Hole game too, links to that. Poker at the Tavern, anything that's going on with any of those places, and the integration with Dead Poker Society. We're going to have collaboration components built into the website here as well. Again, all this is still really a work in progress, but I think that as this continues to evolve, we're going to be able to sort of refine this. And, this is just an overall snapshot. We may hide some of these things and release them over time. Kind of giving you the 3,000-foot view here. Some of the episodes that you guys have here. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you recall back in the day when I asked you for that logo, this is the reason why, right? So,
okay. Yeah.
Definitely want to showcase and just display some of the community activities and some of the things that, really has been happening with the overall project. But this one I think you'll get a kick out of because, we're talking about the storytelling, and obviously that's such a huge component of what John's doing with the book and, with everything that's going on with the backstories of the actual characters. This is really where that story gets told. Right. So again, we have two unique versions of this lore, right? So we have the light version, which we'll start with because that was sort of chronologically the way that it all worked out. So, it's essentially just an overall navigation of the project, running through piece by piece, talking about the different components, the bunny herd tree, the grimoire. Then you get into the lands, what the lands represent for each of the particular characters. All of this lives sort of like as a reference guide here on the back end. And then we start getting into, what are the actual classes? What do they represent, right? So here's where I was thinking like how it could be valuable by using it sort of as a tale of the tape. So, we can see like what the population of the Spartans are, what land they actually represent, what weapons are associated within their particular class, what collection they're a part of, any of the art associated within that one. Moving down into the other classes, you have all these other, the individual assets and tail of the tape for each of the classes. It's sort of, again, just a little bit of a reference guide so that, when things like the TCG start to advance, you're going to be able to see, okay, well, what are the weapons available, for those particular classes? How can they all intertwine and how can they all relate? Again, just overall design ideas that may get modified a little bit, but this is really the premise of how it's going to shape up. Jumping into the light dragons and the Euligans, we have all these, and then towards the bottom here, we start introducing the concept on how the saga continues with series 2, and then this is where we would actually bridge to that second tier of what the website looks like, right? And the second tier, this isn't built out yet, but basically it would just start talking about the dark dragons, and again, a tale of the tape on how all that's going to play out. So as you can see, like the overall experience has changed now that we're on the dark side of the website. And again, it's very similar information. It's just a matter of, which experience you want to have when you're navigating around.
Wow. Oh my gosh. You're building, this is massive. Like this. Wow. Yeah, no, goodness, there's so much here. Like, everybody's going to be like as geeked out as I am right now, just looking at what's possible and like where you guys are going. This is as somebody that worked in software development, I would definitely roll it out in phases, to bring out like everything all at once. Like that's hard to do. But yeah, if you can figure out a way to to bring a little bit of the experience out there for users to see and experience. I mean, that's so cool. Like what you're doing right there, just like with Narf, and he's in the forest. Yeah. Like, and you've got Jackbeard and the Crags, and like, you guys are doing some amazing stuff behind the scenes. That's awesome.
It's a lot, man. It really is. And you're right. I mean, it will be a lot to digest. This is going to be, not your standard, information-based website. This is going to be a full-on experience. And it's going to complement everything that's going on, right? It's going to be your sort of one-stop shop destination for any of the updates revolved around the TCG or any of the developments with the digital collections or the physical collections. Like, I gave you a pretty in-depth sneak peek behind the curtain here. And again, things are not going to be exactly like the way you see it, but with the fact of rolling it out in stages, I think that, we're just going to have to pick and choose the best time to do that with. And again, a tremendous amount of work still needs to be put in place. I still have to build this entire website again on tablet and on mobile. So what you're looking at is just the desktop version, and the other breakpoints on where the website lives still have to get crafted, and that unique experience has to get built out. But I think overall the blueprint is heading in the right direction. I mean, we've showed this to a couple people. We've done it in a couple different, I think, community events too, just to kind of give a little sneak peek about what is on the horizon and what's happening here on the back end. But the things I described to you earlier about, rebuilding all of that code and all those assets on the back end, just to have the NFT collection not have any hiccups. As you can see, we're sort of building our own failsafe here. And the replication of the OpenSea concept, it may be a little overkill, but I think on a collection like this, it's going to be a little bit easier for people to sort of navigate around to the different series and collections that they want to get a part of. As I showed you earlier, series 1 is very in depth, right? I mean, there's 4 sub collections associated with it. And with that, you can break it down very easily between Battle Bunnies, Ghosts, Euligans, or Light Dragons. And you can really sort of navigate your story according to these different sections very easily.
That's awesome. As you've undertaken this, was there ever any consideration to change from Ethereum to something that has lower gas fees? I know there's been some new chains that have popped up that are virtually nothing. I forget what we had Stefan on, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago. He was talking about some chains, and for some reason the word Storm or something like that comes to mind, or something like that, or there's been some other things that basically gas is nothing. Did you guys ever consider or talk about hey, maybe this, if we make a big transition to something like this and have our own fail safe, we could move to a new contract on a different chain and just move the assets over there?
I mean, I think we're a little past that point to migrate everything over into a new contract. I mean, if you remember, we actually did this already with Series 1.
Yeah.
So we
I
definitely,
I know you did that.
Yeah, we did that right before the Ghost collection. And, I mean, it opened up a whole new door of possibilities, and allowed us to do things like the dynamic metadata sets, and, obviously build out these aging dragons, and even the whole, Light Dragon experience from the first series. Right. But, so to answer the question, I think that, the primary, the main collections, the Genesis, the Series 1, the Series 2, we really want to keep those as part of the collection component. And the collection component has the biggest value on platforms like Ethereum. And that's just, historically, I think that's just going to be something many moons from now, people are going to look back and say that was the primary chain for these types of assets. However, other ones like the Hot Pops, or, if there's any other token systems that we want to integrate with any gamification, and that's going to encourage some trading back and forth, absolutely. We're very open to other chains. There's Optimism, there's Arbitrum, there's Polygon. There's quite a few of them out there that would require just some bridging components to make sure you have the native token with that. But I think we have some interesting tricks up our sleeve to allow us, and you mentioned the Dark Scyther token earlier, to allow us to actually utilize a tokenized system for that as the currency of conversion. And, still a lot of work left to be done on something like that, in building out our whole ecosystem and economy. But it is definitely somewhere on our little planning board here to see if we can get done.
Yeah, no, to get these other things that are priority done first before those crazy. I was just thinking, I was like, man, there's a whole bunch going on. And I agree with you. I think that having on Ethereum, I know people don't like the gas fees, but it's not crazy like it used to be. So I think this is a better, to keep those things on Ethereum, but yeah, do Matic with the Hot Pops and, any of the other things where there's gas is basically non-existent. Because I mean, it's part of the value. Like it's part of the value. You paid gas for that. Like I keep track of it in my spreadsheet, like how much gas I've spent. I probably have over $1,000 in gas fees. And I know that somebody that would have been doing this years ago, like they would have been like, oh man, that's nothing. You must not have invested that much in NFTs, because I probably had 1,000 in a couple months, because
I mean,
Luke always tells those crazy stories of just 2 or 3 years ago.
I mean, there were times, man, when we were launching like the Spartan collection where a low gas day was like $90 per transaction. $200 was like, something you really did. You tried to play the game of, I'm going to sit back and wait. But, those were the weird days where if you sat a little too long, you weren't going to be able to jump on it. So, gas fees at that time, man, it was a whole different game. Then it went down to, negligible,
it's like
almost nothing. Yeah, $6-7. But like, I mean, now if it jumps up to 12, there's a ruckus, right? Like, so, we're, I don't want to say we're spoiled on it, but we've sort of gotten used to that side of it, which is, frankly, the way it should be. But again, this thing started on Ethereum. I don't think we should put ourselves in a position to remove the historical significance on where the project was launched at the time. There was actually talks about migrating the Genesis collection, over a year and a half ago. And we sort of shot that down just because that is where it started. And we didn't really want to disrupt the historical significance of that. The collection has a lot of traction. And, at some point down the road, we definitely foresee that collections that were launched at a specific time frame are going to hold a little bit more intrinsic value.
Oh, I'm 100% certain of that. I mean, just not financial advice.
Never is, man. Just it's a tool of the project. That's the way we've always sort of treated the NFT side of this. It is a digital representation of everything else that we're building. But there's so many different branches in this Bunny Hearth Tree project, and they keep growing and they keep growing and they keep blossoming. And, sometimes more effort is put into some areas than others. And it's just really a matter of what where we are, where you guys are as a community, what you want to see, because it's not just us. I hate to think like we're ever on a stage, talking at people. We're in a crowd working and rowing in the same direction at all times, right? I mean, what you've been able to do with this Fancast is a pure testament to that analogy. So, we love and respect every single one of you guys. And we're doing this all for you. I mean, as fun as it is and as awesome as it is to build out this world, if we were playing with it ourselves, man, it wouldn't be the same.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you coming on and saying that. I mean, this was awesome to catch up and get an update. Know the community who has not been at those events where you've shared a little piece of this are going to be excited to see this as much as I am, even if it was just a private showing to me, because I was the only one that missed that program. I'm glad I was able to, to bring you on tonight and, take a few minutes out of your evening with your family. So thank you, Mike, for doing this. This was awesome.
You got it, man. You did hit record, right? Like, okay. Yeah. I see.
Yeah. We'll leave that in there just, because you never know with me, but anything else before we close or that you wanted to share?
Hey, just, good to see you again. It's good to, obviously showcase some of this work and, get people excited, man. Look, we're building strong. We're moving at lightning speed here. All of us in our own respective lanes, making this happen. And, it's exciting to see how far we've come, and it's more exciting to see that, with all the noise and with everything that's going on outside of this little bubble, we've still sort of maintained doing it our way. And I think that you guys really love that about the way that we're sort of, pulling some of these puppet strings and levers behind the scenes. And again, it's not for us, man. It's all for you guys. So, we're all gonna have fun seeing where this becomes.
Me too. Yeah, no, you're a big fan. I mean, you're a collector too. Like you're a fan of the community. Yeah. I mean, I can see your cards behind you. That's a sweet setup.
Yeah. I got to protect it from my tornado of a son.
I got my cards. I don't have them showcased. I thought about doing like a shadow box or something like that. I just, right now it's out there and I just pull them out and I go through them and I look at them and stuff. So maybe eventually my concern is like, will I somehow damage them because I have pretty bright lights in this room. So I'm worried like I'll fade the cards. So that's why I'm thinking maybe not. But,
yeah. I mean, that's another thing, a lot of people don't realize how much work actually went into crafting each one of those cards piece by piece. And that's, another testament to everybody that ever had a say in the way that worked. Frank and Krista specifically, but I know a lot of people were putting assets together external to what they were already doing to make that happen. So it's always fun. I mean, when that package arrived, it was like Christmas. My daughter wanted to come open it with me, and she's equally as excited. She got her hands on a couple new stickers. Her whole bed is plastered with Battle Bunny stickers, so she was pumped about that. Again, this is just another cog in this gigantic wheel that keeps spinning, right? So we're excited to keep plowing forward. Obviously excited for October and to see everybody up in Richmond again. And yeah, we'll have a lot more surprises on the horizon. That's for sure.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Appreciate everything you're doing. And again, appreciate you joining me and catching up the community. And I look forward to seeing you in person in October in Richmond. For
sure, man. And I'm going to take you up on another episode of the actual Fancast with everybody, because I think I jumped on pretty early with that. And, I know it's evolved quite a bit since. So I'm looking forward to our next discussion with that one, man, if you guys will have me on.
Yeah, next time you're on. Yeah, definitely. We'll bring you back for the regular format of the show. And like you said, you were here the early days in September. We hadn't come up with the games. We weren't going through collections, like none of that stuff. So we've got a lot to talk about when we bring you back on, because you got a sweet collection. And we'll, since you're Jackberd, obviously you're going to have to play the game about what colors ye fly in as the pirate.
Well, and again, this is where this community building endeavor really evolves, right? So I showed you the little sneak peek of the site. There is a section dedicated to the Ultimate Fancast. Maybe you can create a quiz, or maybe we can have a scoreboard where you keep tabs on the way that people, interact with the questions and the games on the Fancast, and we can sort of highlight it there on the website, and you can create an interactive game that we can build on that particular page of the website.
That'd be perfect. Yeah.
So we can have a lot of fun with this. And again, this is really where we have a little bit more control of the technology that we can really build on. You know what I mean? That's the whole purpose of it.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Like we've got, I forget how many games we have now at this point. I think we have at least 6 to 7 games. The latest one that will be out in season 2 is called Hold My Spear. And it's a simple game. It's a yes or no. Like it's basically for the Spartans. You obviously can see what I'm playing. It's a play on Hold My Beer kind of thing, but it's Hold My Spear. And you just ask, yes or no. It's a simple question versus the harder ones where it's like, where are they from? Like the walk around Kanegard. Actually, that's not the full name of it. It's a hop around Kanegard, not a walk. Gosh. But yeah, I've created a whole bunch of games. So that'd be great to add those to the website at some point so people can play them themselves. And then when they come on, they'll be old pros at the game. So.
Yeah, well, again, we can have some fun with it offline and really build it out in a unique way where, no 2 games are alike, or you can change some of the questions on the back end right before people pop on. So they may think they have, the secret version of the game, but the reality is it's going to be different questions. So you're going to catch them off guard. It'll be fun.
Yeah. The hardest game was Name That Bunny. If you're not into the naming stuff, and that was the one I started off with first. And then like the Your Bunny or Mine's kind of hard because like there's several that look very similar to one another. So I've made the games a little bit easier, like improving the odds for the star of the show to actually showcase, that they're just, having fun versus like I'm trying to make them look like they don't know the stuff, that kind of stuff, which wasn't what I intended to with the Name That Bunny or the other games, but it was just, that was the ideas that I had at the time. So they've evolved.
And this is why I want to get back on, man. We didn't have games when I was on.
Yeah, I know. You might get it might be like choose your own adventure. Like, do you want to play Is It Narf? And with that game, like we did with Luke, is we took quotes from the book, from the character. Most of them, like I think 8 of 10 were supposed to be Narf, and Luke wasn't getting the joke that they were all Narf. Everybody else figured it out, but he kept saying, no, it's not Narf. And it was definitely Narf's line from the book. So we can definitely go a lot of ways with Is It Narf? And book 1, book 2, like we could have a lot of fun with that, but yeah, definitely lots of game opportunities. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Who knows what other games I'm going to create, like that the fans can play. We might create one just for you.
Well, maybe. Yeah. I look forward to that one.
Be the guinea pig. So we do look forward to having you come back on. We're definitely going to be rocking and rolling in August with new episodes. So that'll be fun, and we'll get you scheduled with me and the boys.
Sounds good. Well, in the meantime, this was fun, dude. It was good to talk to you again.
Yeah, same here. Appreciate you. Thanks. Thank you for joining us today, Ultimate Fan. BBS, Lord L, and Brian, that's me, do hope you enjoyed today's program as much as we did, where Ultimate fans like you are the stars of the show. We'd be honored to have you join us on a future episode where you can share your story and love of the Battle Bunnies with this encouraging community. It would be the greatest compliment if you shared something you love about the Battle Bunnies on your favorite social platform today like X, Facebook, or Instagram and tagged us. Or simply use hashtag #UltimateFancast so we can recognize and celebrate with you and other super fans by sharing your post. Bonus points if you do both and use an image of one of your favorite Battle Bunnies or a screenshot of this episode. We know you share, like, and comment because you care about our fellow Ultimate fans as much as we do. Please leave comments too to let us know how we can make this the greatest fan experience for the Battle Bunnies community. This podcast is sponsored by Hairstream Media, your bunnies all the time streaming service. Okay, not really. It is just us fans like you giving some of our time to support other fans like you. Join us over in the Battle Bunnies community and Discord to continue the fun. We hope you tune in with us each week. So make it easy. Subscribe now. We'll be here to keep you hopping when you need us.